Good evening and welcome to Jazzy Jamdemic. It's the musical series that has been going on since May 24th. It's going for 6 nights a week, Sunday through Friday. I tell you, it's been a great time. Our last performance will be on July 3rd, so if you haven't already, please give a call to your friends and let them know that down at the historic Gem Theater at 18th and Vine, we're presenting some of Kansas City's most prominent musicians right on this stage. And we hope that you have been enjoying these programs over the past few weeks. We'd like to thank our sponsors, the Missouri Division of Tourism, Jazz District Renaissance Corporation, the American Jazz Museum, the Negro Leagues Baseball Museum, and several other district stakeholders that have been making this event possible. We'd also like to thank our production crew who've been working tirelessly day and night, making sure that things are ready to go for the performers. And as you know, this pandemic has taken an effect on the world. The Jamdemic is a program that's set to help you sit back, relax, and enjoy some great entertainment. So without further ado, we're going to present to you the wonderful band Eclipse, and they'll be joined a little bit later by Glenn North. So sit back and enjoy. Thank you very much.
All right. My name is Everett Freeman. Like you said, we are Eclipse. That's Mr. DeAndre Manning on bass. That's Mr. Michael Warren on drums. And I'm Everett Freeman. We're going to be followed by Mr. Glenn North after a couple of songs or so. But we also wanted to, before we play a note, just make sure that you all know that we are men united here on the stage, and we kind of been not very happy about the state of things of our country right now. And we feel some kind of way about that. And I think sometimes our music reflects that. So here we go. just believe in who you are, you will go very far. Open up your mind and the music will set you free. Free to be all that you ever thought you could be. Make up your mind and be true to yourself. The answer is clear, the future is yours. There was a time when I lacked the confidence to sing this song to you, 'cause it just didn't make no sense. The God in me that speaks so true says, get over yourself, you got work to do. Now's the time to move and accept your destiny. Stand up and be strong, be all that you can be. There's room for you, we make space. So come on now and take your place. If you just believe in who you are, if you just believe in who you are, if you just believe in who you are. just believe in who you are. If you just believe in who you are, you will go very far. Bringing up Mr. Glenn North to the stage.
All right, so thank you everybody who's tuning in virtually. Really glad to have this opportunity to perform with Eclipse. I'm gonna start with a poem called Why Black Folks Like to Dance. Opens with a quote from Ralph Ellison. For the art, the blues, the spirituals, the jazz, the dance was what we had in place of freedom. You study the darkness of my body, desiring to know the curve and the line. Whips scarred my back but never broke my spine. You implement strategies designed to steal what's inherently mine. You want to move like me, to groove like me, to boogaloo like me, but your body can't move like mine, 'cause it never needed to. I cakewalked out your slavery and you couldn't lynch my blues. You even try to dance like me, but you stuck with two left shoes. My hips undulate with a passion that shakes pine cones loose. My frame contorts in ways that Sherlock could not deduce. With every oppressor I face and throughout every abuse, my movements possess a beauty only struggle could produce. I keep it moving with the quickness, with the panther's agility, got a Lindy hop too fast for the naked eye to see. I call my left leg Malcolm and Martin is my right. I can march the streets of Birmingham at noontime and dance all Saturday night. Never understood how you could love my music, my walk, my talk, my style, but hate me so intensely. Why am I so reviled? May not ever get the answers on this side of eternity, but one thing is for certain, I'ma keep on doing me. I'ma dance like there's tomorrow and sing at the top of my lungs. Ain't no use in fighting when I've already won. Why black folks like to dance.
That was a tune entitled Snowflake that we just played. We're going to bring Mr. North back up and let him do another poet thing. Going up Glen North.
So at the top of the set, Everett mentioned how us having to continually deal with the murder of black bodies had him feeling some type of way, and it has me feeling some type of way too. So this poem I'm going to share is called Black Tide Rising. If you listen closely, you can hear it. When the moon sits low, full and heavy on the edge of a blood-red sky, in that twinkling of a moment when day is swallowed by night. You can hear it when the hums of the metropolis are muted by darkness and the flesh of your heart thumps against its cage of bones. It is the distant roar of the rising tide, a 400-year-old tide, racing swiftly across the Atlantic. It carries the remains of 50 million dead ancestors. It is teeming with the metallic taste of blood. It knows nothing of satellites or systems of meteorology, so it can't be traced and it can't be stopped. The shore cannot contain it. This tide is deep, dark, and unruly. This tide is a massive mountain of melanin rushing to occupy whiteness. This tide is 39 million burly black men rolling Cadillacs over your manicured suburban lawns, tilting 40s in your country clubs, impregnating your daughters with black babies. This tide is certain. This viscous, violent, volcanic tide courses with the power of memory. It remembers Emmett Till, Medgar Evers, Fred Hampton, Bobby Hutton, Amadou Diallo, Yusuf Hawkins, Eleanor Bumpers, James Byrd Jr., Sean Bell, Oscar Grant, Trayvon Martin, Michael Brown, Eric Garner, Tamir Rice, Walter Scott, Freddie Gray, Sandra Bland, Philando Castile, Ahmaud Arbery, Breonna Taylor, George Floyd, Rayshard Brooks. This tide knows the names of white folks too, so watch out. George Zimmerman, Travis McMichael, Greg McMichael, Dylan Roof, Officers Darren Wilson, Daniel Pantaleo, Michael Slager, Timothy Lohman, Brian Encina, Derek Chauvin, Garrett Rolfe. Coming fast and furious with the karma of Katrina, this tide is supernatural. It is seething with the paranormal ooze of 13,000 ghosts in hoodies. This tide is ride or die, and it collides with the impact of 41 shots to the dome. This wave of sea, sudsing with holy water, is a reaper. This hurricane of pain, filled with 400 years of rage, moves beyond revenge with an expectation of retribution and reparations. This rising tide of tears can't be diminished like they're damned. You can't escape this typhoon, this tsunami of doom. Best believe its waves are crashing soon at a shore near you.
Mr. Glen North. All right, we're going to bring Mr. Glenn North back up one more time. We got a little bit more time.
So last year marked the 400th year since the first kidnapped Africans were brought to these shores. And it's also Juneteenth. We celebrated in a way that America had never seen before a couple of weeks ago. So I thought it would be appropriate to share this poem I wrote called 400 Years, Still Here. Opens with a quote from one of my favorite poets, Lucille Clifton. Won't you come celebrate with me that every day something has tried to kill me and has failed? Here is a 400-year-old poem, an elegy of sorts, because we sometimes use metrical compositions to make sense of death. Here is 1619. Here are 20 kidnapped Africans on a Dutch ship brought ashore to the British colony Jamestown, Virginia. Here is American history. Here are 20 souls beginning a history, a horror story with no end in sight. Here is how they stole the intangible. Here is your stolen language. Here is your stolen religion. Here is your stolen body. Here is your stolen mind. Here is where your family should be. Here is your wife. Here is your wife raped. Here is your wife raped while you stand aside and look. How do you write a rape poem? Here is your back. Here is your back bloody. Here is your back bloody and torn to shreds, ribbons of skin dropping to the dust. Here is your head. Here is your body buried up to the neck. Here is your head atop of your buried body being used for target practice. Here are 5 million stars over the Atlantic Ocean weeping. Here are 5 million black bodies on the floor of the Atlantic Ocean. Here is the baby you had in the belly of a slave ship. Here is your baby tossed overboard because you'd rather see him in a grave than to let him be a slave. Here is a rusted knife. Here is a rusted knife on your genitals. Welcome to your castration. Here is where the pain begins. Here is where it never ends. Here is white Jesus. Here is white Jesus telling a lie that all will be glorious in the sweet by and by, that slavery is your destiny. Here is your wake-up call. Here is how you learn to stand tall. Here is how you take up arms to fight for your freedom. Here is so-called emancipation. Here is birth of a nation. Here is how you survive. Here is June 19th, 1865. Here is your 40 acres and a mule. No, wait, my bad. There went your 40 acres and a mule. Here's your neck, here's a noose, here is a tree, joined in a satanic trilogy. Here is your blood. Here is your blood memory. Here is your blood memory coursing through the veins, its memory contaminated on the cellular level. Here is winter in America. Every government system whiter than snow. Here is 5-0, here is the Popo. Here are the black skin patrollers, a modern iteration of the patty rollers. Here is slavery in a new context. Here is the prison industrial complex. Here is 4 centuries of dysfunction. Here and now is how you function. Here is how you manage. Here is how you cope. Here is how you turn trauma into jazz. Here is how you were built to last. Here is how you ingest oppression. Here is how you keep on progressing. Here you are. You are a miracle, fulfillment of the dream of your ancestors. And in spite of everything, you are still here.
Mr. Glenn North. Can you hear me now? I can't breathe with your knee on my neck. Strange fruit on the ground, can you tell me what's next? We gotta make it right for our daughters and our sons, yeah. Reach out, spread the word, revolution has begun. Be one, oh my brother, yeah. Be one, yeah. Be one, oh my sister. Be one, yeah. Let the ancestors lead the way. If ever there was a time, you know the time is now. This movement's different and it's strong without a doubt. Brothers and sisters, unite around the world. Can't stop, won't stop, they'll never be deterred. Be one. Stop this humanity. Be one, yeah. Oh, be one. And accept your humanity. Be one, yeah. And be one. Be one, yeah. Be one, yeah. Be one. Oh. Thank you very much. That's Mr. DeAndre Manning on bass, Mike Warren on drums. I'm Everett Freeman. Thank you so much. Guess we'll do one more song for you. The funk song that we always do.